What happens when Invincible faces Anissa after their encounter? We open up deep in the cold, indifferent vacuum of space. Set against a backdrop of distant stars, we see two hands floating, one delicate, one absolutely massive. It's Anissa, pristine in her white Viltrumite uniform, effortlessly towing the unconscious giant body of Monster Girl through zero gravity. We cut to the interior of a sleek, high-tech medical facility. Mark and Nolan are walking briskly down a sterile corridor, demanding an update on the situation, but nothing prepares them for what's behind those doors. They walk in and Mark practically freezes, deadpanning, "Oh god." It is pure nightmare fuel. Monster Girl is strapped to an operating table, still in her massive form, while alien doctors are literally performing open brain surgery on her. They've got wires and probes jammed directly into her skull just to keep her alive. The doctors reveal he left her out in space to die, but they're desperately trying to jumpstart her monster regenerative abilities. Anissa, looking completely unfazed by the gore, casually drops that she was nearly dead when she found her. But guys, we have to pause right here and talk about the sheer suffocating gravity of this exact moment. Look at the situation Mark is in. He walks into this room completely battered, looking at his friend with her brain exposed, and who is standing right there, shoulder to shoulder with his father. Anissa, the woman who subjected him to the worst trauma of his life, is just standing there delivering a mission report like nothing ever happened. And Mark is completely trapped. He has to stand inches away from his abuser, suppressing every instinct in his body, while his dad has absolutely no idea what she did to him. The psychological weight bearing down on Mark in this scene is absolutely crushing. We get a tight close up of Mark's fist clenched so hard it's practically vibrating with rage and panic. He's barely holding it together. Anissa reports that they've found the station their enemy is on. Nolan turns to Mark, asking if their enemy, Mark's former friend, can be reasoned with. Mark looks utterly broken. He just shakes his head and admits the guy has changed too much. And then the moment we've all been dreading happens. As Mark turns to leave, just desperately trying to get out of that room, Anissa slides up behind him and casually drops a hand on his shoulder. She leans in and whispers, "Missed you." Mark's face instantly hardens into pure, unfiltered revulsion. Every alarm bell in his head is ringing. Because of the spoilers, I am not going to tell you what happened next and who was attacked, so we cut to a debris field in space. Mark is on the ground, beaten down, and Anissa is leaning over him with a sick, predatory smile, offering a hand. Mark violently slaps her hand away, his face contorted in pure panic and rage, screaming, "Don't touch me!" We cut to the desolate surface of the moon, where a massive Viltrumite warship is stationed. Mark is locked in a heated argument with Nolan. Mark is desperately trying to plan, suggesting they organize forces on Earth and strike when the time is right, but Nolan shuts him down completely. He steps up, looking like an absolute emperor, and tells Mark to drop his human notions of freedom and justice, and then he drops this brutal line: "Lesser beings are sometimes better off with someone more intelligent being in control. A domesticated dog is better off than a wild one." We really need to stop and talk about the insane shift in Omni-Man here, because this is where Mark realizes he is completely on his own. Look at Nolan in this scene, he's not in his normal clothes. He's back in his traditional white Viltrumite robes. He has completely shedded the Nolan Grayson persona. The dad who went to baseball games, who loved Debbie, who protected Earth, that guy is buried. He is fully operating as the cold, calculating emperor of the Viltrumites now, and the contrast is absolutely chilling. Nolan tells him it's better if we, the Viltrumites, and no one is involved in Earth's matters, it will be better for humans, and if Mark still doesn't understand, he is going to be responsible for deaths of millions of humans. And at this suffocating pressure, that feeling of being totally abandoned by his father, that is exactly what leads to this next explosive moment. Mark hears the voice, turns his back. "So nice running into you like this." And then Mark finally snaps. Out of nowhere, Mark spins around and violently slams Anissa into the steel wall. He pins her by the throat, absolutely furious, roaring at her to back off. Nolan is caught completely off guard, yelling Mark's name. But this is where the gravity of Mark's nightmare truly sets in. Anissa isn't scared. She isn't fighting back. She is smiling. She looks right into Mark's eyes with this disturbing dark excitement. And I don't think you realize how much I enjoy this. It makes me want to speed up our next meeting. Mark drops her like she's radioactive. He steps back, looking down at his own trembling hands in absolute horror. Because in that split second, he realizes he can't win. If he ignores her, she torments him. If he fights back, she gets off on it. He is completely isolated in his own personal hell. Anissa just casually rubs her neck, completely victorious. Nolan steps up, thoroughly confused by this bizarre, highly charged interaction, asking if there's something he needs to know about. Mark just shrinks away, physically folding into himself, hugging his arm protectively. He can't even look his dad in the eye. He's totally defeated as he stammers out a quiet "no." And that is exactly where we are leaving it today. Just a quick serious note before we end: the dynamic between Mark and Anissa is a very dark, very real portrayal of trauma and assault. The creators wrote this to be a psychological nightmare, not a fantasy. Please remember that people in the real world deal with this kind of trauma every day. So please, it's not a joke. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more. And you can watch here that who wins after these years between Omni-Man and Invincible.